Well, good evening, all of my beautiful lions here in the Lion's Den. Thank you for joining me tonight. I was just typing to you, Joanna G, my blessed, beautiful sister, but I couldn't type fast enough. I want to appreciate Bishop of Twitch, One Reason, who's here with us on tonight. Faithful is he, as well as Truck Driver 57. So much love to you, my brother, and my Mufasa and Joanna G. Thank you all for coming in. Now, you know how we do. We just jump right in and we don't spend a lot of time just in preliminaries. And Joseph was brought down. I'm in the 39th chapter of Genesis tonight. Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, and an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. Now, I want to stop right there, and if I can just make this emphasis, alignment. Alignment. We see Joseph's brothers did him bad. They intended to kill him, graveyard dead, but Reuben, as you remember, the eldest son of Leah and the eldest son of Jacob, said, let's not do this. Let's just put him in the pit. But he intended to come back and get Joseph later on. But the brethren, while Reuben was gone, sold him off to the Ishmaelites. Now, the reason why I bring up these points is because in our lives, sometimes we don't necessarily see the big picture, but I guarantee you there's always a place where God has alignment. And sometimes you need to step back. Many times we can ask God to relieve us. You know, if it had been in 2025, can I put it like that? If this had been in 2025, first of all, we would have been praying against our brethren for trying to do us harm. Then we would have potentially prayed against the Ishmaelites coming and buying us. Then, and I'm making this point. So many times we pray prayers that can actually be out of the alignment of what God is doing. The steps of the righteous are ordered of God. So if we understand that the steps of the righteous are ordered of God, this is where I want us to develop relationship with God, because sometimes God will say, do this. Sometimes God will say, do the opposite of this. Sometimes God, even as I shared with you all the story that I did on yesterday, when God told me to shake the dust, there was no conversation to be had. It was time for me to shake the dust. People can judge wherever and however they want to. It's okay. It doesn't matter. The thing is to be sensitive to the voice of God. Why am I saying that? Because all that happens in this first verse is really divine assignment and divine alignment. So he was brought down into Egypt by the Israelites. That was how he ended up where he was in Egypt. But then when he gets to Egypt, here we have Potiphar, and notice this, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard. He was captain of the guard. God has an alignment that's going on here. And it was no point in praying against Potiphar, any of that, because Potiphar was going to be the means by which Joseph was going to get to the position and placement that God had for his life. So we see, isn't it interesting that we have an officer, the captain of the guard? Some of you, if you really stop and realize, there are some people in your lives that they had strategic positions themselves. I can remember at one phase in my life, and I won't go through all of that, but there was somebody that was strategically placed in my life, had to go through some changes, absolutely, had to do some things, but they were the cause almost single-handedly for a major promotion that I had in my life. So we'll see this position of a Potiphar that operates in our lives, and whereas we will tend to kick against the prick and be upset and have attitude and anger and all kinds of energy, I want to even bring up, I can't go into a lot of I won't go into a lot of detail about Kai Chick. I love her spirit. She came to this stream, and she's been a faithful follower for 42 months. 42 months, Kai Chick has been a faithful nonstop follower in this channel. She came to this channel with challenges, and I can remember when she first came, She kept applying for promotion, and promotion kept passing her by. Promotion kept passing her by. And promotions that she was qualified for, promotions even that she should have gotten, and they just kept passing her by. And I believe her testimony was 8 times. And I'm not telling anything that she didn't tell herself, but I'm telling you, as she stayed faithful to that, the promotion came. Well, then even further, without giving her testimony on the last part, I just want you to know that that promotion was just the beginning of a major, major, major promotion that has just recently occurred that she wasn't even looking for. She wasn't even, I mean, the Lord positioned it, designed it, and everything. So, this is what I'm saying to us. If we can have and find that place of being, can I use the word comfortable? Um, or what maybe comfortable may not be the right word, maybe at peace. And Richard Mr. Clean right White wrote a song, Accept What God Allows. Sometimes we need to just, and acceptance means I'm not struggling against it. I'm not trying to pray a different prayer to go a different direction. I may actually be in my phase of alignment, and by me, and it's a beautiful thing how sometimes God does not answer the prayer that we fervently pray, because sometimes the prayer that we fervently pray is going to pull us out of alignment. Just be clear on that. So he gets to Egypt, and they bought him from Potiphar, bought him from the Ishmaelites, which had bought him down hither. So there was a plan, there was a path. We used to sing a song back in the early days when I was a child. Have faith in God. The sun will shine, though dark the cloud may be today, because his heart has planned your path and mine. Have faith in God. Have faith always. Sometimes that's where we need to find ourselves, just having faith in God. So I wanted to definitely point that out, because that is significant, because all of this, come on, truck driver, all of this was alignment, and it was divine by God's hand. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. Now, even in Potiphar's house, he's prospering. Even in the Egyptian's house, he is coming into a place of blessing, because listen, the hand of the Lord was on him, and his master saw that the Lord was with him. Now, it's interesting, because this echoes not only with, now we have Joseph, but you remember even with Isaac, and before him, Abraham. People are noticing that God is with them because of the way that God is blessing them. You say, but it's not a blessing. You're a servant in somebody's house in a strange land. It is a blessing. And sometimes you need to open your eyes to the blessing and embrace it for what it is, because I'm telling you, just to embrace that blessing opens up more blessing instead of kicking against the prick. And his master saw that the Lord was with him and prospering. Now, and Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him and made him overseer over his house and all that he hath put into his hand. So again, promotion comes from the Lord. We see that even in Egypt, even in Potiphar's house, he's both prospering and he's being placed in a position of authority. I think about Truck, and Truck shared this, how even as his company, the owner decided he wanted to do something different. And this is all about positioning and alignment. And what God worked out, without giving all of his story, was that at the end of the day, what the owner ended up doing was selling the business to those drivers, to those truck drivers, so that they could become business owners. I'm telling you, you never know exactly how the Lord is positioning you for the blessing. Just be in alignment. Now, and it came to pass from that time that he made him overseer of his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house. Now, listen, and I say this all the time, I can remember I was riding back on a air flight. It was a red eye, late at night, last flight out. It was late, and we hit turbulence because there were tornadoes in the area. And I mean, you talk about turbulence. We were dropping and bumping, and the little lady next to me, it was a little elderly lady, and she was so fearful. But I talked to her. I laughed. Listen, I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride. I had a great time. And she looked at me and she was like, I just can't believe this. I just can't believe it. I said, listen, ma'am. I said, you're okay because I'm on this plane and it's not my time. And I understood. I understand. You're going to be blessed to land safely because I'm on this plane. And I meant that thing with all of my heart. So we talked, we laughed. When we got back to MCI, when we got back to Kansas City, she took me to, listen, one reason I'm trying to tell you, she took me to meet her family. She said, oh, I was so fearful. And I tell you what, this lady sitting next to me, she told me this plane's not going down because she was on it. And we talked and we laughed and she entertained me all the way back so that I had no fear. You have to understand that there are times and places that God will put you. The place that he's placed you is being blessed because you're there. You understand what I'm saying? The place and the people are being blessed because you are there. So here we have the house of the Egyptians that are being blessed because for Jacob's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. Everything that his hands touched was blessed. And I want you all to get that kind of idea and mentality about yourselves. Every place, everything that I touch, everywhere I go is blessed because I'm here. And he left that he had in Joseph's hand. Now, this is a beautiful thing when people trust you enough to leave their possessions in your charge and in your care. Now, the thing that we have to be faithful to, and this is where the glitch in today's times, I would say is more of the challenge, because it seems like that's what you've been telling Cookies. Come on here, one reason. That's the truth. That's the truth. This is where we fall, because people put stuff in our hands and then we're not faithful over it. God puts things in our charge and we're not consistent. We're not faithful. We're not operating in good stewardship. But we should be the ones, when the people realize how blessed we are, we should be the ones that they're coming to and saying, hey, will you run my stuff? I see how God's blessing you. Let me give you charge over what I have. And that, I believe, in 2025, I believe that's what God wants to do right now. I feel like that's some of why God has me doing this Bible study, because he wants to position those of us that are willing and ready to get in right position with right hearts, with right attitude, with a yieldedness. That's the part. It's hard in these times. It's hard out here in these streets, y'all. It's hard in these times to find people that will be yielded. We find ourselves resisting at every turn. Lord, I'm not going, no, I shall not be put in a pit. Then no, I will not be sold to these Ishmaelites. No, I will not be a servant in Potiphar's house. When God is really positioning you so that he can give you stewardship over. Listen, it's a beautiful thing when not only do you have your stuff, but God has caused you to have stewardship over other folks' stuff. I tell people a lot of times, many things you don't have to have. If you have access to it through somebody that God has given you favor with, it's the same as you having it. Hello, you understand what I'm saying? You don't have to own everything and have this and have that yourselves. God can give you stewardship, just like what he did here with Joseph. God can give you stewardship over somebody else's possessions because God knows that he can trust you with it. And that other person knows that they can trust you with it. But it's about, can we be faithful to the stewardship, the call, and not listen without dibbling and dabbling in somebody else's stuff. You know, you come back and the owner thinks, okay, this is what I left you with, and you've been biting off of it the whole time, and when they come back, there's nothing left. You understand what I'm saying? You've been biting off of it the whole time, and when they come back, there's nothing left. A good businessman, a good business person is going to invest, and there's going to be a return on that investment. So, am I being a steward that brings a return on the investment, or am I eating up all the seeds? Because if you eat up all the seed, it's nothing more to plant. You ate it all. There's nothing else to plant. So this is a discipline, if I can call it that, that we must develop. But God is ready in 2025 to start positioning some of us to have stewardship over these other people's possessions. I want you to hear that clearly, because God is ready. The time is perfect. It's ripe. While everybody's worried about what's going on, God said, I'm not worried, because I got some folk that are going to be able, when situations arise in various areas, that they're going to be able to step up and fill in the gap, and they're going to be ready, able, and prepared to make it happen. He left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not, the man didn't even know what he had. Potiphar. It was like, listen, I trust him just that much that I don't even need to worry about it. Save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. Now, that part. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes. And I always laugh when I do this, because in our church, we had a class for teenagers. And our teacher, who was my auntie, would always, when we read the scripture, we had to go down the row and show what it looked like to cast our eyes. Cast your eyes, cast your eyes. And we go from person to person showing how you cast your eyes. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph. And she said, lie with me. Mother was hot. She was hot to trot. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in this house, and he hath committed all things to my hand. Now here we got integrity, because scandalous, one reason, just scandalous. Now, he had regard and respect for his master, having given him the accountability of everything that he has. And that's the place, again, that if we're not careful, we'll mess it up. Because instead of walking the chalk, and this is, I have integrity when you see me, but I have integrity when you don't see me. I have integrity when you're present, but I also have integrity when you're not present. This is the place that we must walk in to really become a viable presence that God can allow us to begin to be stewards over not only our things, but upon the things of others. Come on, that part, one reason, I feel that that's what God is doing and going to do in this hour, but we've got to have that level of integrity. It doesn't matter if nobody sees you but God, because you understand the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. It doesn't matter if nobody sees you but God, you still walk in a place of integrity. That's the place that we need to walk right now, truck driver. So there is none greater in this house than I. Now, I understand the authority that I have. Listen, some folks cannot be the HNIC. They cannot be the person that's in charge, because honey, that power will go straight. And I know some folk, I'm listening, I'm telling you, as soon as they get just a modicum, a little bit of power, it goes to their head and you just almost can't stand them anymore. But listen, Joseph understood there is none greater in this house than I am. Neither has he kept back anything from me but thee. That's the only thing he hasn't given me is you, and you're his wife, basically. Now, come on now. Because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Not only am I going to be really scandalous. You've dealt with such people. Come on here, truck driver. Not only am I going to be scandalous, as one reason said, but I'm not going to do this to the person that has put this trust in me, and I'm surely not going to do it against God. All right. And it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day. Now, this woman was not going to leave him alone. This woman had cast her eyes on him and she wanted him. Now, you should have been looking at your husband Potiphar, but you out here scoping out the situation. You looking at this fine young tender, and you done got lustful in your heart, spirit, mind, and attitude. Sometimes y'all need to shut your eyes while she's casting her eyes. Sometimes y'all need to shut your eyes. Am I talking to anybody? Because listen, if lust has been something that you've struggled with in your past, don't tempt yourself till you get strong enough. You understand? Well, you know, because at the end of the day, some of y'all don't need to tempt yourself at all because you just ain't strong enough. Every time the situation arises, your flesh overcomes your ability to just say no. If that's you, shut your eyes. She didn't have any business looking and lusting. That's really what, because, honey, she was lusting in her heart and she'd already committed to sin already. Please believe it, because, honey, I'm sure she had envisioned that thing. But at the end of the day, it came to pass day by day. And this is the part. She's fixated on it on a regular basis. Some of us need to just go ahead, tell the truth, shame the devil. If that's what's monopolizing your thoughts, long before you ever cheated, you had cheated in your mind. You understand what I'm saying? Long before you ever stole, you had stealing in your mind. What I'm saying here is that the thing that you give your thought and your energy to, and the more you think about it, the more you entertain it, the more you ponder that thing over in your heart, the stronger that urge becomes, the stronger that desire becomes. I say all the time, you can't control your thoughts. You can't control your emotions. But what you can do is control how you respond and how do you react to it. Come on here. Sometimes, can I go here? If you could just really manifest, I will bless the Lord at all times, and His praise shall continually be in my mouth. If I'm blessing God, I'm not going to be in a continual phase of lusting after somebody. Come on here. But listen, I'm not blessing God. I'm sitting here and I'm meditating. I'm cogitating about all the things that we could do and how we could do it. The next thing, I don't know what happened. I just fell. Baby, you've been thinking about that for a long time. Am I talking to anybody? Sometimes what our old folks used to say to us at church, rein in your mind. Listen, like you rein a horse and you put that bridle, rein in your mind. Rein in your thoughts. Rein it, tripping up into it. One reason, just tripping right on up into it. But rein in your mind. Put a bridle and a bit on your tongue and your mind and bring that thing into subjection. All right. And day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. Now, check this out. She obviously was like, now, we see that last phrase, or to be with her, and that again is sexually, but to lie by her. If I just allow my imagination, she was like, oh, because you know how some people will do. They gradually get you into the sin. Well, no, we're not going to do it. Let's just lay down. Let's just lie down. Can we just lie here on the couch and just talk together? Can we just lie here and just share our thoughts? Listen, he said, I'm not going to lie down with you because I already understand the slow drip. That's what it is. One reason, the slow drip. It starts, can we just call? Can we just call each other? I couldn't sleep last night, but I was thinking about you. And listen, y'all know how it goes. The slow drip. You know how it goes. But Joseph would not allow himself to be caught in either trap. And as one reason said, tripping up into it. Some folks, listen, sometimes we just waiting for the trap. Just waiting for the trap to get caught up in it. And so at the end of the day, it reminds me of a preacher, and he was an old preacher, and he was an unlearned man. But nonetheless, they asked him, they were doing vocabulary, what is a synagogue? And he thought about that thing and you think you got me. A synagogue. The man's in sin and all gogged up in it. Listen, sometimes we are living in a synagogue. We in sin and all gogged up in it. So at the end of the day, take your mind and put it in the right place. Don't trip up into something that you've been waiting to be all gogged up in to begin with. Get control of yourself. Get control of your mind, your emotions, your thoughts. And again, I can't stop what rolls into my mind, but I can control how I respond to it. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business. And there was none of the men in the house wherein, oh Lord, just waiting for an opportunity. Just waiting for, ain't nobody home but just me and you. No, this is not the time for just me and you. So anyway, he comes in and she caught him by his garment saying, lie with me. Now, at this point, we ain't even talking about let's just chit chat on the couch. Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. Saints of the Most High, whether it's a situation like that or use that for an analogy to apply to whatever, sometimes you got to leave your coat. Come on, one reason, run, Forrest, run. What the word says is not what gets in. Come on and tell me, truck driver. You got to sometimes, in certain situations, leave your coat. Come out of it. And obviously, if he ran out of the coat, she was trying to take it off. And he was like, listen, you can have my coat, but I'm up out of here. I'm gone. Goodbye. Leave your coat. And it doesn't matter what it may be. And again, I'm going to say you can use this story even as an analogy. It doesn't just have to be sexual desire. It doesn't have to be somebody trying to trap you up. But it may be come on, Joanna G. I'm telling you, it's what comes out, truck driver. It's what comes out. This is where we start talking about being people of integrity. Well, ain't nobody gonna see me. Ain't nobody gonna know. But I told you the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. God sees you. Don't fool yourself. But we have that, nobody's gonna see me. Nobody's gonna know. And if it involves somebody else, nobody's gonna know besides me and you. Listen. And can I say this? Somebody like a Potiphar's wife, please believe me when I tell you, if she had caught him up, he was going to pay dearly for that. If she had been able to trip him up and trip him into a situation, he was going to pay dearly for that. Please believe me. So at the end of the day, when we need to leave our coats so that we can be people of integrity, leave the coat. Leave it, honey. Leave it. It's not what. And then this is where I want you to check your hearts, because sometimes some of us still in a place of temptation, but we don't want to admit it to ourselves. You know, I left my coat and I need that coat. I need to figure out how I need to go back and get my coat. No, you ain't trying to go back and get your coat. You trying to find another opportunity to fall down. I don't care. I know Donnie told you we fall down, but we get up. But some of us are trying to find, not the secret lovers. You understand what I'm saying? One reason, some of us are looking for opportunities to fall down. Am I talking to anybody? Don't leave the coat and don't go back and get it. Because listen, to go back to get it can be just as dangerous. Am I talking to anybody? The going back to get it can be just as dangerous as when she took it the first time. The second time might even be worse. So I want us to pay attention that we find ourselves in a place. Get another coat. You can do it, one reason. Get another coat. But I want us, this is where I'm saying do introspection. Look inside yourself. Because when you still, oh no, I want that coat. What's your real motive here? What's your real, get in your heart. Get in your heart. Get deep down in your heart. What's your real motive here? Is it really about that coat? Because as one reason said, you can get another coat. What's really going on inside of you? What is your ulterior motive? What are you trying to see if we can make it happen again? So, come on here. Now, coming on down, and it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth. He was like, no, I'm not going to do this. That she called unto, now, this is what I told you. If he had gotten tripped up and fallen for her foolishness, he was going to pay a price. You already have another coat truck driver. Come on, y'all better talk to me, because this is where we start talking about the motives and the intents of the heart. What is your heart's intention? Don't play games with yourself. Be true to you. Well, I didn't know. I just wanted to get my coat. That's all I wanted. I wanted to get my coat, and when I went in there to get my coat, she walked in the room naked. What did you think was gonna happen? She was gonna walk in the room naked. That's what. Okay. Anyway. Then she called into the men of her house. Now he didn't do it. So like I said, he was going to have a price to pay. Now he still got a price to pay because he wouldn't do it, because he was a man of integrity. She called into the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, see, he has brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in to lie unto me, to lie with me. Ma'am, he didn't want you. Now that's part of the issue right there. He didn't want you. And I promise you, there are people in your life. And again, this is not just, she was a liar. She was all in her feelings. She was all in her feelings, Joanna G. She's mad because she's been rejected and scorned. I don't want you. I don't want you. I do not read my lips. Don't read my lips. Read my actions, because I'm up out of here. He wanted to lie with me. And I cried with a loud voice. You wish. It gives Barbara's reply to Shirley. It's giving Barbara's reply to Shirley. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, Dalen. So, here, and I cried with the loud, like you had to scream and holler to get him to leave. Sounds like Master's wife in slavery. Yes, and yes again, one reason. He looked at me, and many a black men, Emmett Till, lost their lives over lying women, saying that somebody looked at them, that somebody wanted them, that somebody tried to lay hands on them. I can remember a few of my family members who had to flee the area that they were in because some white woman said they saw them, they wanted them, they were looking in the window at them, and come on, Kai Chick, y'all know I'm telling the truth, and they had to leave the entire area because y'all know they were killing us for allegations of just looking and peeking supposedly through a window. So at the end of the day, it's that same energy. It's that same energy. And I had to cry with the loud voice. Probably had some tears. Probably had some Karen tears. Oh, okay. I'm just saying. And it came to pass, when he heard that, I lifted up my voice, just lying. When he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. Ma'am, didn't nobody want your tired tail. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. Oh, she's working this up, y'all. She's portraying the part. You understand the words that are coming out of her mouth. Honey, till Potiphar got home. She's carrying this on. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant, which thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me to mock me. And action. Baby, this is a whole drama going on right here, one reason. She's in full bloom. And the Emmy goes to, the Oscar goes to. Come on here. And action. Because, baby, she played the role. Do you hear me? She played the entire role. And he spake unto him according to these words, the Hebrew which had came in to mock us and came in to mock me. And it came to pass as I lifted up my voice and cried, oh, please don't do this. Susan Lucci vibes. You understand what I'm saying? This is one life to live right here. One life to live. Oh, no, all my children. Let me get the right one. All my children. And as good as Susan Lucci was all those years and didn't win an award, but you understand, Joanna for sure. Joanna, she's, I lifted up my voice and cried that he left his garment with me and fled out. Can you say mad? She's mad. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, here we go again, on the words of her saying, and Emmett Till is yet dead. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Emmett Till is yet dead on some words, lies that the woman recanted and still had no negative. Oh, okay. Let me. I deviated there for a second. Same energy, the same energy, which she spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. So now we got Potiphar's hot and bothered, and he's hot under the collar. Because again, just like Joseph said, this man, there's nobody in this house greater than me. All because he did not serve her the way she wanted him to, God chick. That's all it was. He didn't serve her the way that she wanted him to. Because he was a man of integrity. And the thing that Joseph said, I would not do this to him. This man has entrusted me with everything. And he walked in his integrity in this place. But now, Potiphar, on the words of his lion wife, is angry at Joseph. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. Now, what did I say to you all earlier when we first started? Divine assignment and divine alignment. Joseph could have been praying that whole time, Lord, get me out of this. Lord, I got, no. But accept what God allows when it's the will of the Lord, when God is doing something, because, and I'm saying it to you like this. This is why I emphasize, have a relationship with God so you can know what to pray, how to pray. And he was still favored, Joanna G. He was still favored. You got to know how to pray, what to pray, because sometimes we can be praying against our own progress. Hear me when I say it. Sometimes we can be praying against our own progress. I remember one of my first sermon thoughts as a child. I wasn't even a teenager. One of my first sermon meant the way up is down. And of course, we've heard that 10,000 times since. But the way up is down. Everywhere he went, the Lord was there with him. Rest assured of that. One reason. He'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. And listen, in every trial, he'll be right there with you if you just trust him. So this is still a path to where God was going to elevate him. Hear me, hear me. And Kachik, I don't know if you were here when I kind of touched on your 8 times that you applied for that promotion and they kept overlooking you and passing you. And then turn around and look how God had your path set for you, and where you are today is like night and day. You have to just go through the space, go through the place. Now, even as you go, be sensitive to what needs to be done, when, where, why, and how. But all of this being cast into the prison, there's still something that God had in store. And this was a part of that alignment. This was a part of that assignment. From the pit to the palace, to the prison, back to the palace. Come on, that's it. One reason. And God has a palatial suite prepared for you, but we refuse the prison. No. No. We refuse the prison. And listen, I'm going to tell you from experience, the prison is not a comfortable space to be in. It's not. But there needs to be that yieldedness to accept what God allows. God, if this is what you want from me right here, right now, I accept it. I'm good with it. I'm not going to kick against the pricks. I'm not going to snot and cry. I'm not going to be depressed. I'm not going to have an attitude. I'm not going to be angry about it. I'm going to praise you right here in this place right here. I'm going to bless you right here in this place right here. I'm going to dream right here in this place right here. I'm going to prophesy right here in this place right here. Even if they call me a wicked Hebrew to come in and mock the people and scandalize my name and say, listen, I'm right here. I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. That's what I'm going to do right now. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all, hey, I feel something, and all that's within me. Bless his holy name. I don't care if they call me everything but a child of God. I don't care how they dog me out. It doesn't matter, because I understand there's a palatial suite that God has for me. Come on here. And I'm on my way to my blessed place. And I say that because I do understand the prison and the suffering is not the most comfortable place. The discomforts are not the most pleasant. But understand that God's hand is on you and you're headed somewhere. Am I talking to anybody? And Joseph's master took him and put him in the prison. So, but the Lord was with Joseph. Come on here, Joanna G. The Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor. And this is the thing. The people that throw you in the prison will come back and be astonished and astounded and dumbfounded at how God is still giving you favor. And you know what? They'll be ticked off. Because what they thought was going to be your demise and the end of you, God's using it all the while to exalt you and lift you up. Do you hear what I'm saying? The humble will be exalted. Come on. And exalted will be brought low. Please believe it. So humble yourselves under the hand of God, and he will lift you up in due season. The Lord showed Joseph mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. What the enemy meant for evil, God will turn it around, because no weapon formed against us can prosper. Am I talking to anybody? And as much as you hear me talk this, encourage yourself with these words. Don't find yourself in the muck and mire of self-pity and self-doubt and anger towards God. And why did you allow this to happen to me? Listen, come on here, Kai Chick. You got to have that in your shondo. This is one of my favorite scriptures. For I know in whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that he's able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. And I believe that what I've committed unto God, even in my errors, even in my shortcomings, even in the days when I don't necessarily get everything right, I am persuaded he's able to keep that. And what did I commit unto him? I committed my heart. I committed my mind. I committed my soul. I committed everything. Yes, I may make some mistakes, but I'm not worried about the mistakes, because I've committed everything that I have. And as I walk this journey out, come on and talk to me, y'all. As I walk this journey out, he's perfecting those things concerning me. Am I talking to anybody? He's perfecting those things concerning me. And I just need to know that. But the main thing I need to understand, he's with me. Am I talking? Come on, One Reason. Woo! Come on. He's perfecting those things concerning me. My God, today. And he'll still give me favor. Am I talking to anybody? Woo! And I remember when the Lord gave me that verse, and it always struck me, because there was an older mother of the church. Come on in here, Tall Pumps. Come on and bless him. So there was an old mother of the church, and she used to stand up, and before we had what we call testimony service, she would always quote that scripture. For I know in whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that he's able to keep that which I've committed unto him against that day. And it seemed like from the first time that I heard her say it, there was something that just resonated down in my spirit. And when I finally understood the fullness of it for myself, and I was able to say with assurance, with confidence, with no doubt and no fear, for I know in whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that he's able to keep that which I've committed unto him. Woo! I've committed my life, my health, my finances, my home, my family. Am I talking to anybody in here? To keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. And that day is this: when you get in a place where Potiphar, who you've done no wrong, but his wife is wicked, that day is when he throws you in that jail, in that prison, but then God turns around and gives you favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Am I talking to anybody? Woo, because he will do it. Please believe me. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand. Oh, now check this out. God just keeps giving him. Come on here, Joanna Johnson. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners. Everywhere he goes, God just keeps giving him that blessing where he says, listen, because of your integrity, I can put you over Potiphar's house. Because of your integrity, I can put you over the prisoners in the prison. Because of your integrity, and we're going to see, God's going to give him favor where his integrity is going to bring him before the king and give him favor in the kingdom such that he's only second to Pharaoh. Do y'all see the picture? Elevation. But you have to have that level of, come on, incarcerated dreams. Thank you for the biddies. I want you to understand that you have to have that ability to prove yourself trustworthy. Do you understand? God is, if you want to equate it to a business, God is a good steward and businessman. He's not going to hand over something, stewardship, oversight, to people that cannot be trusted. Please hear me. But once we've been tried in the fire and we come out like pure gold, and God says, I can trust her with that. I can trust him with that. I can place this in their hands. And I don't have to, when Potiphar didn't stand over Joseph's shoulder. The Bible said he trusted him with everything and did, and what was even in his own house. He didn't know what he had, but he knew that Joseph was taking care of it. Am I talking to anybody? That's the position that God wants to put us in. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in prison, and whatsoever they did, he was the doer of it. Come on. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything, just like Potiphar. Once more and again, I don't have to stand over his shoulder and micromanage him because Joseph is a man of honor. That's the way we should walk to and fro in this earth. And that's the way God blesses us. And I'm telling you, I'm going to say it once more and again. I believe in 2025 and beyond. That's really what God wants to do with us. But we've got to first show ourselves able to handle the responsibility in good stewardship. My God, today. But those that will, there's a blessing in the pressing. Those that will. Hear me. Come on. God will cause people to get, and I'm going to say it once more and again. You don't have to own it. You don't have to have it. God will prosper you. Yes, he will, but he'll also give you oversight of what's not even yours. I'm telling you what he'll do. Woo, thank you, Lord. Because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. And that's where we're going to stop tonight. Ooh, I'm telling you, as we get in this vein, as we get into this trend, God, you're an abolitionist, though. I see you, Jabez. I see you. I hear you talking. I love you, sir. So as we come into this place of understanding, God, and even if you take it symbolically, you may not take it literally. If you'll take it figuratively, as an allegory. Okay, Jabez, take it as an allegory. If you can understand that there are times, one reason, listen, I'm not here to preach a sermon. This is Bible study. But listen, this is where I get excited when I read the Bible by myself. This isn't just because you all are here. When I read the Bible by myself, I get excited. I'm telling you, I see it in 3D. I see a full live, in living color. The whole man. Because listen, I can tell you a whole version of this story and make a drama in vision, a visual arts production, that motion picture. Thank you, One Reason. And woo, I'm telling you. But understanding that there are places and times and phases where we will be placed in discomfort. We will be placed in something that may challenge us and not give us free range like we would want to have. And yet and still, I am contending with you that there is a blessing that can come out of that for elevation. Sometimes God just needs to make you known to certain people. Huh? Can I say that again? Sometimes God wants to make you known. It's not about the prison. It's about who you're about to be exposed to because you went to that prison. Because that's exactly how Joseph was made known to the king, to the Pharaoh, because he was in the prison. Now, we'll get onto that story later on, but I just want you to get that clearly. It's not about being imprisoned. It's about being positioned to be exposed, to be positioned, because every place he went, if you really stop and think about it, he was free when he was in Potiphar's house. He was free when he was in prison, because this man is not in prison. He's running the prison. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? He's running the prison. He's running Potiphar's house. He's not in bondage. He's running the whole show, the whole kit and caboodle. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. He's as free as a bird. So as we look at positioning and how God will take us into a place, and I'm with you, Jabez. I appreciate your input there, because by no means am I, and I've said this earlier in our Bible study, I'm opposed to slavery. I'm opposed to chattel. I'm opposed to second class, second rate. I'm opposed to all of that. And as I said on, was it yesterday or one of these days this week? I can't remember which one exactly. Well, it's a new week. This is Sunday. But as I said, sometimes I feel like it's in there so that we can know it doesn't work. It's in there so that we can know it doesn't work. My God, today. All right. Any comments, any questions, anything that you want to add, please do. And again, I appreciate all perceptions, all vantage points. Everybody's input is just as valuable, and I appreciate you for putting it in there. I'm gonna go back, and while you all, if you have something else you want to say, I want to come around and I want to speak to everybody. You know, One Reason, the Bishop of Twitch. And he is just so faithful. He is just so faithful to be a blessing to the Lions Den. I love you, sir. Truck driver came in here this evening and he was ready. Joanna G, that's my sis. So much love to you, and thank you for coming through today and for your input in the conversation. I saw Dalen in the room. Joanna G, truck driver. I'm coming down and I'm just scrolling so fast. And I know some of you I've already said, but I'm just, Dalen 628 is in here. Kai Chick, so much love. And I used your story. I didn't tell all of it, but I did tell the portion of the story that you've shared in the Lions Den. And when I tell you, God, positioning. And I will say this one last time as I get ready to leave. Joanna Johnson, come on, Joanna was my first moderator. She and Rebel, they were my very first moderators when I first started streaming, and so I appreciate her. She is such a blessing. And it's good to see you in the room tonight. Nothing but mad love to you. And we sent up prayers for you the other night. I did share with the family that you had a loss in your family. And we are sending up prayers and condolences to you even at this time. I love you, sis. Now, and Jabez, come on in here, Jabez. Nothing but mad love to you. But I want us to really embrace Kai Chick. Listen, no, thank you. That boss energy. And she has just been the epitome of the teachings of boss energy. And I've never been so moved as the 8 times that she got overlooked, the 8 times that she got passed over. Oh, Tall Pumps was in here. I was scrolling real fast, but I remember the Tall Pumps was in here. And then who was it? Incarcerated Dreams. Thank you. I don't want to miss you all either. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you for being here. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Dalen, if I didn't call your name, I appreciate you for being here. Kai Chick was passed over 8 times. And all the while, God was steadily positioning her. And ultimately, I will say this. I'm not going to tell the end of her testimony, because when I tell you God has exalted her high and above, but I would equate the prison to that time that she was seemingly cramped in that space and could not get a breakthrough, could not get a promotion, could not. But what it ended up doing, yes, God is so good. Kai Chick, if you're gonna have to come on sometime and tell the rest of your story. I only told up to the point of when you got the first promotion, the first big promotion. But I just want us to understand she's a good example in living color, live and in these days and times right now, of how God, in her perseverance, in those 8 times of being wrongly overlooked and bypassed, to finally get that promotion, finally, that moved her. But listen, where it moved her to, because that still was not her ultimate blessed place. What it moved her to was where God positioned her to be in the sights of somebody that could elevate her even higher than where she was looking. Do you hear what I'm saying? Let me say it one more time. And I said, whoo, Kai Chick, I'm trying hard not to give all your testimony, but I'm just trying to get you. These aren't just stories that we're telling. These aren't just conversations that we're getting on here and having chit chats about. This is manifesting in real time in today's hours that we live. That promotion, the first one was was finally the breakthrough, but it wasn't the final destination. What it did, it aligned her in the sight of somebody that could see who and what she was and what she brought to the table. And out of their witness came the next promotion that was greater. And listen, I'm just trying to tell you, you ain't even got to ask. The Lord will just bless you. Joseph didn't say, hey, look at me, y'all, look at me. He didn't say that to Potiphar. He didn't say that to the prison chief of the prison. All he did was just go and be himself and do what he does. And be blessed and flourish and manifest. God's hand is on my life. Even if I am in servitude in Potiphar's house, even if I'm in prison for something wrongfully that I didn't even do, at the end of the day, the thing that continuously manifests in my life is that I am blessed and I prosper, even as my soul prospers. And it causes people to stop, look, and listen and say it's something different about her, something different about him. And I told you, as I said very early on, promotion comes from God. Point blank blunt. Promotion comes from God. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can steal it from you. You ain't got to push up. You ain't got to lie with Potiphar's wife. You ain't got to give up the goods. Come on here. Joanna, I'm telling you, Kai Chick has a testimony. I got to get her on here one time where she can give the full testimony, because this last blessing was just blow your mind blessing. But that's what God will do. And it's about being positioned in front of the person that has the ability to make it happen. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And sometimes we're fighting where we've been positioned, but it's that position that exposes us to the person that has the power to change your situation. Oh, I know I said something right there. It's about being positioned in front of the person. One reason, Kai Chick, y'all better come on here. Being positioned in front of the person that has the power to change your situation. Mind blown, Kai Chick. Mind blown. She's got a powerful testimony. And I'm not even scratching the surface, but you all get the gist. It's big. It's big. And God has that for us, beloved. God has that for us. God has that. But the stewardship, and I'm going to keep going back to that. You got to first show yourself stewards, good stewards, because God is a good return on my investment kind of God. And he knows what he's deposited in us. Even when I say that, it's in you to do. It's just the question is discipline. Will you be disciplined to get yourself in the headspace that you need to be in? All right. I hope this has blessed you all this evening. I got a little worked up. I didn't mean to get quite as animated as I did. However, it's like fire shut up in my bones, y'all. I just can't help it because it gets good down in my shondo because I know what God has done for me and I know what he wants to do for you. And I know there's more rain in the clouds. There's more yet to come. We just have to look at how we are operating and cooperating with the program. Amen. Alignment. Sometimes we don't necessarily understand why, but listen, I promise you at the end of the day, God will bring you before greatness. Thank you, one reason. Thank you, one reason. God will bring you before greatness to bring you to your greatness. Just go ahead and get in line and let God do what God does, and that is let God be God. I love y'all, and I hope that you have a blessed night. And we'll see you tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Thank you all for coming. For those that were in my chat, for those that were not in my chat, I appreciate you for being here. Incarcerated One, I appreciate the biddies. Thank you so much for sharing and being a blessing. Because I really want this, and this is really in my heart. I really want this to be a blessing to all of us here and to Incarcerated Dreams. There you are. Thank you so much for the biddies. And please believe me when I say this goes toward what we're doing in the stream and other things that we can do ministry related. I love you. I absolutely do. I want to be true to what I told the Lord I was going to do in just being here. I know the game is on, so many of you may be watching it and listening to me at the same time, and that's fine. But I'm going to give you your time to go 100% into the game. I love you. I really do. Peace for your journey.